There are moments in life when just a single second, one breath, one heartbeat, is enough to shatter everything you thought you knew. I used to believe my wedding day would be the happiest moment of my life. A sweet, perfect ending to our love story and the beginning of a beautiful life together. But I was wrong, so wrong, because right at the very moment I was about to walk down the aisle, when the music began to swell, when friends and family stood up with anticipation in their eyes, my phone buzzed in the pocket of my tuxedo, a text message. From an unknown number, just a few words, but they froze my blood. Don't marry her. She's not who you think she is, at first. I thought it was a sick joke, but it wasn't, because the sender of that message was the bride herself, the woman I was about to marry, the woman who once swore she'd love me forever, the woman who cried in my arms and told me I was the only one she'd ever need, and just like that, I stood at a crossroads, caught between trust and betrayal, between the weight of hundreds of staring eyes and the chill of something I couldn't explain. Do I move forward? Or do I run, what I didn't know? Was that behind that one message was a cruel truth? A truth soaked in blood, lies, and a cold-blooded revenge that had been carefully crafted in the shadows, because she didn't marry me out of love. She married me to destroy me. My name is Quan. I'm 32 years old, a CEO of a thriving tech company. I have a house, a car, status. I've been through a few relationships in my life, but everything changed the day I met Vi. She was smart, gentle, with eyes that carried the weight of sorrow, like someone who had lost too much, too soon. From the moment I saw her at a party, I was drawn in. She didn't try to stand out. She didn't need to. There was something haunting about her presence. And me? I was like a fool, completely captivated by her gaze. We were together for over a year before I proposed. Vi said yes. She smiled when she accepted, but I couldn't miss the sadness behind her eyes. When I asked about it, she simply said, "I don't deserve you. But I'll try to be good." At the time, I thought it was a sweet kind of humility. I had no idea. It was a warning. My family wasn't entirely on board. Especially my mother, sharp, meticulous, and naturally suspicious. She didn't trust Vi. Said she was too quiet, too secretive. No one knew her background. No mention of her hometown, her parents, nothing, but I ignored it all, because when you're in love, you see what you want to see. And you're blind to everything else. We set the wedding date for April, spring, the season of new beginnings. I was standing in the groom's room, staring at myself in the mirror, straightening my crisp white suit. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. Outside, the wedding music started. Applause echoed through the hall. Everything was in place. Then my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number, but the name that appeared was Vi's, and in that one message everything shattered like glass dropped from a rooftop. I was frozen. My eyes locked on the message, "Don't marry her. She's not who you think she is." It came from an unknown number. But just seconds later, another message appeared, this time, signed clearly, "I'm sorry. Vi." I stumbled out of the dressing room, ignoring the event coordinator calling out, "Mr. Quan, it's almost time." I couldn't answer. I had to see her. Now, I rushed to the bridal suite. The door was locked. I knocked, nothing. No sound. I turned to find someone from the event staff, but instead ran into Vi's assistant, Lynn. She looked pale, her hands trembling. I asked, "Where is Vi?" She hesitated, then whispered, She left. Said she wasn't coming back." My whole body went cold, right in the middle of our wedding, hundreds of guests waiting, music playing, my bride was gone. She had texted me, warned me. Then disappeared. I tried calling her. No answer. The number had already been disconnected. I lost it. Flagged down the nearest taxi and sped away, leaving behind a stunned crowd of friends, family, and reporters. I didn't care. I needed answers. I needed to find Vi. 3 days passed, still no word from her. My family was furious. They called it a public romance scam. The media started to pick up the story. As for me, I didn't scream. I didn't cry, I just didn't understand. I sat alone in the apartment meant for our wedding night. Her wedding dress still hung over the back of a chair. On top of it, a white envelope, inside, a letter. Quan, if you're reading this, it means I didn't show up at our wedding. I'm sorry, from the bottom of my heart. But I couldn't keep lying to you. Or to myself. Do you know why I always looked at you with sadness in my eyes? Because I once had an older brother? I froze. He died in a construction collapse 10 years ago. A site your company invested in. At the time, my brother was just a contract worker, no official employment, no safety, no compensation. The blame was pinned on the workers, no one was held accountable. My family was shattered. My mother lost her mind. I dropped out of school. We were thrown into darkness, and I swore, if I ever got the chance, I'd make the person responsible feel the pain we did. My heart stopped. The man who signed the final approval for that site was your father. You weren't guilty, but you were his son. At first, I got close to you for revenge. But then, I fell in love with you, truly, and I couldn't go through with it. Because if I did, we'd both be destroyed. I stood there, shaking, tears blurring my vision. 2 months later, I hired a private investigator. They found the tiny room Vi used to rent, where she took care of her mentally ill mother. The neighbor told me she was so gentle. Always feeding her mom, never complained. But at night, she cried herself to sleep. I tracked down the psychiatric hospital where her mother was now staying. The nurses said Vi still sent money regularly, but never left a return address. I left my number, hoping. Then, one winter day, a text arrived from Vi, meet me. One last time. If you still want to. We met at a small cafe. She looked the same, long hair, sad eyes, but now, there was peace behind them. I was going to destroy you, she said. Her voice shaking. But then you loved me. You really loved me. And I couldn't hurt someone who gave me something so real. I said nothing. A storm roared inside me. I still love you, she whispered. But I can't be your wife. Because I'll always carry that past with me. And you. You'll always carry the guilt, won't you? I nodded, then I held her one last time, the most painful embrace of my life. We left the cafe that day in silence, no promises, no last glimmers of hope to hold on to. In the middle of a bustling city, I stood there, watching Vi disappear around the corner. Her figure slowly faded into the crowd, leaving behind a silence so deep it chilled me to the bone. From that day forward, Vi vanished completely, no calls, no texts, no trace, as if she had dissolved into thin air, taking with her the love we never got to finish. I had moments where I wanted to search for her. Times I thought, maybe we could forgive, maybe we could start again, but reason always held me back. Some things, once shattered, can never be put back the way they were. I returned to my life. Work, endless meetings, dinners eaten alone, but every night, I still dreamed of that wedding day, of joyful music and a single message that killed it all, a message that was honest and merciless. My mother never let it go. Friends whispered behind my back. They called me the victim and Vi, the traitor, but I never hated her, not once, because if I had lived her life, I might have done the same. Sometimes, loving someone doesn't mean holding on to them no matter what. Sometimes it means letting go, so neither of you drowns in the weight of the past. because the truth is, some loves are born to break, and some people enter your life only to teach you how to survive the things you can't fix. Vi entered my life like a breeze, gentle, mysterious, and making me believe she was the one I could build a future with. But the truth hidden beneath that facade was a painful past, where her family was destroyed by mistakes I, unknowingly, was a part of. Vi loved me, but that love wasn't strong enough to erase the hatred she carried within her. And when the time came, she had to choose between love and revenge, a choice that was anything but easy. In life, sometimes we find ourselves in situations that bring us to a painful realization: love is not always enough to overcome all challenges. And there are secrets, no matter how long they've been buried, that will eventually come to light. Love is not just a simple feeling, it is the acceptance of everything that comes with another person, even the old wounds. I loved Vi. But I also learned how to let go. That was the hardest thing, but it was the only way for both of us not to drown in despair. And I believe that sometimes, loving someone means knowing when to let them go.